Alright, so we're back once again, and today we're going to be going over a ranked battle I played recently for Ranked Season 15. Ranked's a bit of an odd beast, to be honest. It's very wishy-washy. You know, if you plan to get to rank 1, you're going to have these kind of games where it feels like you're the only person playing on your team, and everyone else is out there just to put you behind yourself. That doesn't even make sense. That's how flustered this kind of game is getting me. But with that being said, we are going to be providing a commentary for this particular battle where I play the Thunder. This is on the back of maybe, I would say 17 games or something. This game decided to be the mother of all games. It actually made me stop playing for the day, because I thought, like, this is probably the limit at what I could actually play at. And then after that I was like, I'm done with the game. There's no way games can get any worse than this, and still manage to win. Spoiler. But that being said, we do decide that we're going to turn right. We're not going to go left. A lot of times there we go down the left flank. The enemy team tends to put a lot of ships, especially if they're on that side of the map. They tend to put a lot of the ships down their right hand flank or my left hand flank. So that's why I'm always a bit wary of just pushing straight ahead down that particular flank. I'd rather just go maybe a little bit to the middle or a little bit to the right hand side, give myself more space, get more of an angle on particular ships, and give me the chance to actually get a couple of broadsides, maybe. That being said, not all that much is happening. You know, I learned from previous experience, pushing straight down the map, you know, down this area right here, is not a good idea, because it leaves you way too exposed, and if enemy ships, like say the Burgoyne, was in the position it is right now, it can just free farm me, even if I decide to turn out right here. And if I turn out right here, I'm showing broadside, boom, I'm gonna get 30k salvos just fired at me all day long. It just really isn't worth it. It's better to take the safe route and make yourself out, get out alive basically, and not take that 30k salvo. Now with that being said, it does open up a lot of opportunities if you execute this well. As you can probably see, the Stalingrad, the Z-52 and the Puerto Rico are all on that flank, and the Thunder's also on that flank, whereas they only have the Stalingrad and probably the Burgoyne on this flank. The Zau's heading over in that direction, but it's going to take them a while to get there. So with that in mind, I realise we have the Goliath, the Des Moines and the Stalingrad all on that flank, just basically holding the Stalingrad in place. We also have the Shimakaze in position in that little island place, basically holding the Stalingrad in place too, because if he rushes the Shimakaze, it's more than likely he's going to take a hell of a lot of torps, to put it lightly, and probably get one shot. Now, here's what I decide to do in this moment. I decide to turn in. This gives me two scenarios. A, I can farm the Stalingrad basically for free. If he decides to push me or turn towards me, the Shimakaze can torp. Or the Des Moines and the Goliath can push up, and then they get free ass shots at him all day long, or free citadels. But conversely, on the other side of the flank, if the Stalingrad decides to push up, I get broadsides on him. If the Puerto Rico decides to push the Stalingrad and the Montana, broadsides on him. Same with the Thunder, and I get a lucky. The Zau's a bit slow to move to the left hand side of the map, so we get a nice citadel on him. Now that being said, I'm kind of willing my Stalingrad right here to push with me, because he has the radar. If he has the radar, the threat of the Z-52 is completely removed from the game. There's absolutely no threat. That being said, we do have 3 heals at this point in the game, so, you know, any torp hits, I can probably dodge them based on the fact I'm just sailing like straight in. So torps are basically going to come straight at me, so I can probably take 1 maximum, maybe 2 if I'm just being lazy. But we do see the torps from the Z-52 push that. Oh wait, those are Zau torps, not Z-52. But anyways, I'm only going to take 1 or 2 torps, and with 3 heals and my damage con, they're just, the threat's non-existent. That being said, the Stalingrad does decide to push. He eats a hell of a lot of torps from the Shimakaze, and as a result, I line up the shot. And we get the first citadel and the first kill of the game. Now at this point, we just see some torps fly by. Previously, now I'm undecided if those were the other side of the Zau or if they were the Z-52. I take the assumption that they were the Z-52 torps, which leaves me the option of opening up on the Stalingrad. Now this is a bit of a tricky situation for for me, because I'm not all that aware of how tanky the Stalingrad actually is, plus the fact that I have a full broadside Thunder sailing basically straight behind it. So I decided the best situation here is just to go straight at the Stalingrad, minimize the angle, not minimize the angle, but get as close to the island as I can, force the Stalingrad to push back, and for him not to aim at me. I still get decent damage on the Stalingrad, but I'm not taking as much fire as it would be. Now at this point I know the Thunder can't get another salvo off before I get undetected. Yeah, I can just duck behind this island, and thus protect myself from fire from the Puerto Rico, from the Thunder, from the Stalingrad, and basically the only exposure I have is to the Z-52, which is, quite ironically, smoking up and right in the back. And he stays detected long enough for me. If you watch 40,000 to 49,000, we get a 9k salvo on the Z-52, which is beautiful, just what I wanted. Unexpected, but just what I wanted. Now we see the Stalingrad. He's thinking about, so you'll notice here on this big gauge, I start to slow down, then I speed up, and then I slow down again. I'm constantly monitoring if the Stalingrad is going to push, because if the Stalingrad's going to push, it gives me basically a free broadside. But if he doesn't decide to push, then I can just basically sit here, or I can push on and get the broadside on the Thunder or the Puerto Rico. So every decision I made in this game is really calculated, or I like to think it is. Maybe I'm just playing on instinct and luckily made the right decisions, but anyways, we'll play it off as though I'm really good and I made the right decisions. That being said though, the Thunder seems oblivious to the world and he's sailing full broadside. I wait until I see the nose coming past the island, that way I can get a good elevation on the actual firing angle. Really simple shot to take. He turns out way too late. Actually, ironically exposing more of a citadel to me. And I get absolutely 30k salvo. Beautiful. Now you may be thinking here, like, why didn't I shoot the Puerto Rico? I probably, in retrospect, maybe I would have killed him, but I wasn't entirely sure at that point how well angled the Puerto Rico was. And if he was bow in, or, you know, potentially going bow in, I probably wouldn't got as much percentage damage as I did on the Thunder. You know, a 30k salvo or 35k salvo on the Thunder is basically almost 50% of his HP. And as you'll see from that salvo that I fired at the Puerto Rico, I got maybe, what, 10k? 10, 15k? So it wasn't guaranteed that it's going to do as much percentage damage. So that's what my thought process was when I, you know, fired at the Thunder versus the Puerto Rico. But that being said, Montana decided to run away, and that's something I didn't anticipate. And if you watch the HP bar, yeah, he's full HP. Running away from a fight that we easily could have won, especially after I landed that 30k salvo on the Thunder. I mean, not even the fact running away. If he had kept them spotted and stayed in that area of the map, this game would have been a hell of a lot easier, to put it lightly. But with that being said, now that he actually did run away, it gives the Thunder time to heal up with, obviously he has 5 heals just like I do. It gives the Puerto Rico time to heal up, because obviously if we have 4 heals, they obviously have 4 heals also. So it makes the game a hell of a lot more difficult with just one bad decision. And that's something I want to touch on with ranked. You don't see it as much in normal games because, well, there's no kind of buffs or anything in normal games. But wrong decisions in this game mode really are easily punishable. In particular, certain wrong decisions are probably more punishable than others. At this point, I'm just kind of, I know the Stalingrad's are in that corner, and I know the Thunder's pushing through here, so I want to play the link. I don't want to show too much broadside, but also I don't want to turn in and grind myself on the island. You get a 10k salvo on the Thunder, which is really nice, and 2 fires, so he's instantly going to damage con. But getting back to my point of mistakes, you know, I played pretty much exclusively the Gearing and the Thunder in ranked because I find I'm successful in those 2 ships the most. And, you know, people give ship recommendations when playing ranked, but I don't see, just play the ship you play the most. It's probably going to be your highest win rate, it's probably going to be the ship you know the best, and it's probably going to give you the highest chance of success overall. Playing a ship just because it's strong and ranked and you have no experience with it is probably one of the stupidest ideas I can think of. Because a noob in a good ship is still a noob. You know, you can't change facts like that, and you're not going to be able to expose the strengths of the ships sufficiently enough to actually kind of use them to your advantage. Well, that was a really weird tangent. Speaking back though of exposing the mistakes as we kill our second ship, ships like if you're playing a DD, if you're playing something like the Shimakaze and you decide to go to the flanks, but the enemy team doesn't decide to go to that flanks, you're basically in a random battle, you probably have time to get back and actually have an effect on the game. But in ranked battles, the games end so quickly that you don't actually have that chance to actually reset and get back into the game. So mistakes like that are very strongly punished, and in like a passive sense. You know, it isn't the enemy team doing the punishing, but you know, it is a punishment sort of that the game punishes. Another thing is YOLOing is... No, well, I wouldn't say YOLOing is actually a mistake that's punished all that much, because I YOLO a hell of a lot in the Thunder, and more often than not, I'm doing like 100k damage with 4 or 5 citadels, just from the crossfire that I get. Strangely enough, the one thing that doesn't change with ranked is lemming trains. They seem to be the one consistent thing throughout the entire game. So it's good to see that some things never change. But overall, I've had a pretty positive experience with ranked. It's actually reignited my fire for the game. I'm actually kind of getting sad thinking about going back to random battles at this point. I just think there's too many ships. I really just think there's too many ships in random battles, and it really puts me off because you just like, there's a reason most competitive games or most, you know, arcadey style games, like if you look at CSGO or even at like maybe Battlefield's a bad example, but that's an FPS, that's different. But if you look at things like CSGO or League of Legends or Rocket League or things like that, the team size is never as big as 12 man. And I think that creates a really, I want to say different playstyle or a different type of game to what you'd normally experience. And as a result, it's a very odd experience to play through when you're coming from all those different types of games. As somehow, on a full broadside Stalingrad, we get 1,490 damage. What the Anyways. But yeah, it creates a really unique experience, I'll say. I don't want to name it as bad, but yeah, it's something, you know, I struggle with a lot. Somehow we got AK there, even though he basically stuck out his fingernail, and I hit him. But anyways, with that being said, we're somehow still 2-2 in this game. Yeah, but I wish they would introduce a game mode, like a consistent game mode, or an ever-present game mode. That was beautiful. An ever-present game mode that just limited the amount of players. I think it would actually increase the player base quite a bit, and make the game overall a lot more fun to play. I don't know why they're stuck so much. I don't know why Wargame is stuck so much on the 12v12 outfit, but you can disagree with me if you want in the comments. You're free to do so, but that's just my opinion on it. Anyways, back to the state of the game. We've somehow killed 3 ships, and I think our team's allergic to actually shooting at the enemy ships. So I think the Zhao is about to go down. Yep, it goes down with that salvo. And right now I'm just purely in survival mode, because I know with the way my guns are pointed, and I give a bit of encouragement to my team. But the way my guns are pointed now, I have to take on the Thunder, and I'm worried that if I get exposed by the Z-52 at this point, or get spotted, then like I do right now, like he can easily farm me down, especially with the way my guns are pointed. So I have to take a really big risk right here, and either push the Thunder or die as a result of just sitting still and taking fire from the Z-52. But luckily, the Montana comes and saves the day, and I don't have to die to the Thunder. And with the way the position of the Bourgogne is going, I can just about get around this island and manage to evade the Z-52 long enough to survive another day. And if you notice in my HP bar at this point, I've maxed out on heals. at this point, but I'm not actually dipping lower on actual HP. I think that's 5 heals is enough to like offset the course of 1 fire, which is a really interesting ratio. And it's not something you're likely going to get in most games. But just look at the amount of healing. That's like 300 HP per tick, which is actually pretty insane. I see that we're going turning in, so I decided to switch to HE. Just a logical decision. At this point, the game's pretty much over. We've done 208k. We've killed 4 of the enemy ships. He somehow knocked out my back turret, which is really interesting. But yeah, like some games are like this where you just have to struggle and just play out of your. Well, I really don't like bragging, because I don't think I did anything really all that particularly special this game. It's just more of kind of going through the motions, actually thinking about what you're doing, and playing appropriately. And there's probably plenty of things I did wrong in this game, but I just haven't reviewed it sufficiently enough to actually pick those out. But with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this little mini commentary, and I'll see you in the next one.